When I first tried both of these bourbons, I'll be honest, I wasn't really mad on either. But now, one of them is one of my all-time favourites, and the other, well, yeah, still not really sure. So let's see what happens when we put them head to head. Hello and welcome back to the channel, and yes, that's right, today I'm taking a look at Wild Turkey's Rare Breed versus Four Roses Small Batch Select. And as I said, both of these didn't wow me massively on first opening. The Rare Breed just felt like an ABV boosted version of Wild Turkey's 101, but actually with a bit of time, with a bit of, I guess, acclimatization to the higher proof, it has proved to be one of my absolute favourites. It is a stunning dram. On the flip side though, this Four Roses Small Batch Select, it was hot as hell when it first opened. Obviously it hadn't had any time to breathe and it was awful. It made me cough throughout the entire review. So yeah, wasn't a big fan. I did a revisit to answer the question, was I really right about it? A lot of people commented and said, you know what, it's just, yeah, it's not that bad. You just need to give it some time. And it was better, but I'm still not really sure. And I tried to validate that by comparing it to some other whiskies, but for some reason I forgot all about the existence of Wild Turkey's Rare Breed when doing so and didn't put it against it. And a lot of people said you really should try them together, so here is a whole video doing just that. So why these two? Well, they are pretty similar in a few ways, both big hitters on the ABV front. The Rare Breed comes in at 58.4%, which is 116.8 proof, as I can see on the back of the bottle, so I didn't fancy the fast math. And the Four Roses Small Batch, I think, is 52%, yeah, 52%, 104 proof. And they're a pretty similar price. Of course, bourbon prices in the UK at least fluctuate all the time, so I'll put them on screen now as kind of correct at the time of editing. But yeah, they are pretty close. Of course, the Rare Breed does have the legs on the Four Roses when it comes to ABV. It is that bit higher. It's not huge. Once you kind of go past 50, those jumps maybe feel a bit less because, relatively speaking, it's, I don't know, it just feels that way, all right? But we will try the Four Roses first because it is the lower ABV. But as I say, similar price. There's a similar vibe, I think. But for me, I love the Rare Breed, but I still haven't really found a way to enjoy this Small Batch Select, with the exception of in an old fashioned, because it does make a damn good one. But on its own, yeah, not really made it just yet. But anyway, let's get some drams poured and give them a go. I am terrible at pouring consistent measures. I really should just actually measure it out. I've got a bit more of the Four Roses there, but it doesn't matter. It's the taste that we're really interested in. Visually, really similar drams, both. It's deep, dark, rich, almost slightly rose gold hue to it. Look absolutely fantastic. If I swirl them around the glass a little bit, my left hand's not as good as doing that as my right. Let's give it a go. The Wild Turkey has legs, and a lot more so than the Four Roses. Both are leaving some legs on the glass there, but you have to say, I'm sure you can see it coming through on camera, the Wild Turkey is just a load more impressive. Now, I did say I was going to try the Four Roses first because it's the lower ABV, so let's do the aromas on that next. So, has this changed? Is it going to be calmer than last time? Do I finally like it yet? Or am I still really not sure? Spicy, kind of clove and a bit of almost star anise, like really depthy, woody spice notes. It does still smell pretty punchy, I have to say. Don't remember this being as spicy last time. It's always had, you know, a bit of that, but now it's like it's all I can get is cooking spices out of it. It's really very dominant in that respect. I'm trying to work out if there's any fruit or any sweet note in there at all that I can really pick up on today. Definitely a bit of citrus peel coming through. Maybe just a hint of kind of like a dark brown sugar, but it really is just a hint. On the flip side then, the Wild Turkey Rare Breed. I keep wanting to say 101. It's not the 101. It's the big brother. It's the Rare Breed. It's much more clearing of the sinuses, that one. It is still spicy, but it's got this nice, big, fresh, kind of minty cum eucalyptus thing, just clears your airways out. Still struggling for the sweetness and the fruit on this one. Really not a lot as well. Bit leathery, which is one of my favourite aspects about this dram. Sometimes it comes through on the nose, sometimes not. Pretty much always comes through on the palate though. If this had a little bit of kind of like peanutty vibe, it would really set it off beautifully, but it doesn't quite. And yeah, I don't know, it feels a bit more balanced than the Four Roses because it's spicy, big, rich, woody, and then that kind of minty, eucalyptusy kind of, let's be honest, kind of cough sweet vibe, clearing your nose out. It does help balance it off, whereas the Four Roses is just spice packed for absolutely days. So big difference there. I'll be honest, I do feel like there was more sweetness before in the rare breed, but all of these bottles change over time. Every review I do of them are going to be different, but hopefully at some point you'll kind of be able to tune in to what I'm talking about. So let's give it a go first. The Four Roses Small Batch Select, which I'll be entirely honest, the first time I absolutely hated. Let's see if it's any good today. Cheers. Okay, still hot, not super jarring, and actually my first sip of whiskey today, this week, this month, because it is the 4th and I've not had any for a bit. It's been a while. In fact, it might even be like close to 2 weeks since I've had a dram. So yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure if that's kind of impacting things, but let's take another sip just to be sure. Okay. I did wonder when I filmed my last video, it was starting to come out a bit more. It wasn't as just unpalatable as I'd first thought, but it didn't seem great. And I did wonder, do I just need to leave this a bit more again? And the answer apparently was yes, because I'm not going to say it's phenomenal, but now it's good. I understand it. It's got actually heaps and heaps of flavour. And I'll try and pick a few of them out for you. Rich, thick, treacly. The woody spice comes in abundance, as you would imagine based on the aroma. It's got this, it's an odd flavour, and it does remind me of something, and I'm trying to pick out what it is. But what I think is happening is some of that really intense char from the bourbon barrel mixing together with that high ABV, with the ethanol, and it's producing something that feels burnt but clean all at the same time. And I'm struggling a little bit to work out what it is that it's reminding me of, but I have to say it's got a load of sweetness up front. It's got a good amount of well-rounded woody notes in the middle. It's definitely one of the woodier drams that I've got. It's got some serious sinus cleansing properties at the back there. And is it marzipan? Marzipan that it's reminding me of? I'm not a big fan of marzipan, but well, yeah, it does feel like that is what this is reminding me of. It might go some way to explaining why I'm not always that mad on it, but it's a lot better than it was before, and it does feel now like a complex, rich, high ABV bourbon, actually worth drinking, but it's probably not going to be everyone's favourite. Right then, water break. And on to one that is often one of my favourites, Wild Turkey's Rare Breed. 101, the smaller brother of this, is phenomenal. Everyone knows it. This, when I first tried it, I said just felt like the 101, but a bit higher proof and more expensive unnecessarily. After a bit of time though, you start to realise that what this does is showcases Wild Turkey's 101 as just kind of the middle band of flavour, and you've got heaps above and below, and it's a thing onto itself, it really is. So let's give this another go, shall we? Cheers. Sweet and citrusy up front. There is some caramel, vanilla, those de facto bourbon flavours coming in. Kind of missing, if I'm honest, from the Four Roses. Not everyone wants a super sweet bourbon, but it's nice to have just at least a tip of the hat to those generic tones. This is doing that in abundance. It is a real journey, I have to say. It's kind of sweet citrus, kind of, candied lemon peel, a bit of the pith, a bit of bitterness. It's really good. Then it flows into the traditional kind of bourbon sweetness, the vanilla, the slightly chocolatey nature of it, the syrupy stuff. And then it starts to set you on a more sophisticated route. It starts off quite woody, quite oaky, quite tannin heavy is probably the way to describe it. But it's pretty short-lived, and it opens up into this robust but fresh kind of, it's almost like you're going on an arc of a flavour wheel. Like, it starts off in this really intense place, and then it freshens up a little bit, and the flavours almost transform. You're not getting a new flavour, it's just shifting, and it goes through from those really intense notes into a leathery note, which is kind of still in the same wheelhouse, but it's just maybe a little bit less abrasive, and then finally out of that into a very, very light kind of, I was going to say, it's not peanut, it's more, I don't know, like Brazil nuts, maybe. What the ones with the little, I can't remember the name of the nut I'm thinking of. The ones that look like they've got wrinkles. Walnuts. That's the one. It's that kind of thing. And I'll be honest, yes, it's got the higher ABV. I don't think it needs it. I think you could bring it down a bit because, well, it delivers a much more well-rounded, breadthier, bigger variety of flavour. It feels more balanced, and at a higher ABV, just feels like a better job well done, I have to say. But, you know, it's difficult, this, because I need to go back to the Four Roses. Yes, it's hotter. Yes, it's more challenging. But there is a charm to the fact that this is kind of all in that heavy spice kind of section. And it's, yeah, I don't know. I feel like my hateful relationship with this bottle when it started might end up turning into something completely different. I still prefer, sat here right now, Rare Breed. Balance beats all. As much as I like trying them, and I appreciate it, and I actually quite like this now, if I'm totally honest, I don't think in an average day I'm going to reach for this over the Rare Breed. But it's building on me, and I think it's a nice diversifier to a collection. And I think I'm going to have to get my hands on a bottle of the regular small batch, not the select version, to see if that delivers this kind of attitude, but maybe in a slightly more easy to consume package. Because let's be honest, having to wait until half the bottle's gone and a load of months before it's any good, I'm going to struggle to argue that that is in itself a great product. It has great potential for sure, because, well, we're experiencing it right now. But if someone's saying which one should I buy, this was pretty good out of the gate. Yes, the very first time I tried it, I wasn't wowed, but then I pitched it side to side against 101 and some others, and actually, yeah, once you learn where the flavours are, if you like, it is absolutely sensational. And to be honest, I think that wraps this up pretty well, so I should probably stop talking now and let you lot get on with your day. So as always, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. If you haven't already, subscribe if you'll be so kind, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.